do it well. For 135 years, we've been helping families through the hardest times of their lives. That's because we're a family as well. When your family loses a loved one, we're here to help. We're Brown Funeral Home in Martinsburg, Inwood, and Charlestown, Ranson. We're here when you need us.
We have the tools, we have the talent. It's Miller time.
It's Miller time on Talk Radio WRNR. A look at local sports with the play-by-play voice of local sports, Matt Miller.
Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome into Miller Time on this Monday, a 2-hour edition as myself and Matt Crawford spend the next couple of hours with you rehashing the weekend, predominantly talking football, but we can talk a little bit of hockey as the Capitals played on Saturday, third time in 4 days, and it didn't go well.
I think it's catching up to him.
We can talk a little bit about baseball as the American League and National League Championship Series are now well underway, and they are already off to very good starts. And then, of course, there's high school football from Friday night. Big win for Musselman. Record-setting win for, well, at least
record-tying win.
Thank you, for Martinsburg. And then, two very disappointing finishes on Saturday in college football for local fans. And then two dramatic finishes that should have local NFL fans relatively excited. One really not so dramatic as the Ravens just absolutely dominated Tennessee. Go ahead, throw a fist in the air. I see
he's
you
not.
over
He's
there.
not even paying attention.
He's not paying attention.
We're finally giving his Ravens some credit, and he's not even paying attention.
Caleb Falero in our newsroom is a diehard Ravens fan, and so we wanted to show him a little love, and we caught him off guard. So now I think he's ready to add to the show with some opinings of Joe Flacco greatness and the return of the Ravens defense.
Opinings?
Our defense never left. It was just Joe Flacco. Well, really, it was receivers dropping passes, which Michael Crabtree got a touchdown. That was nice to see. He finally caught some balls.
How many did he drop? Did he have any drops?
I don't remember him dropping any, no, but he probably did when I was going out to the fridge, you know.
He probably put one in there at some point.
But also, Alex Collins had a solid game with 2 touchdowns. He didn't have that many yards, but he had a couple touchdowns. But 11 sacks from the defense. That was fantastic.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Franchise record.
Which is even more impressive when you're playing
a
mobile quarterback.
Yeah, right.
I mean, at some point, don't you kind of fault Mariota for getting sacked that much?
I mean, he was really running for his life almost all game. I mean, I don't know how much I can put the blame on him.
I'm not saying put blame on him necessarily, but at some point you look at it and go, how as a mobile quarterback do you get sacked? Or maybe it's the play calling that allows a mobile quarterback to get sacked 11 times. That's kind of some Redskin play calling right there.
Did the offense sputter just a little bit? You know, because I got a chance to see a little bit of that first half, and they raced out to that 2-touchdown lead pretty quickly. And then when I see the final still 21-0, I'm thinking I expected a little more out of the offense after the way they started.
I think they just played more conservative and just, they had a 3-touchdown lead or 2-touchdown lead at that point, and they just played conservative.
No, and the defense was dominating, no doubt about it. But I always struggle with the conservative approach. You know, I mean,
you're telling me
you got a 21-0 lead. I understand that, but what got you a 21-0 lead? Why do you stop doing what gets you a lead? I don't understand it. Keep pouring it on.
You want to know what drives me nuts? That for some reason it's slowly starting to trickle into the college game more and more. How NFL defensive coordinators, as soon as a team needs a touchdown on a final drive, automatically their playbook goes, okay, we're going to go with the bend, don't break defense. We'll give them up to the 20-yard line. Then we'll start playing defense. Why? Why would you change your game plan that has been working all day and switch to, okay, we'll give you 8 or 10 yards at a time, but we're not going to give you the big play. Okay, can't you do what you've been doing all day, not giving them the big play and still keep pressure? Drives me nuts. I get it. That's your game. If your game plan is the bend, because that's some team's defense as a whole. It's the bend, don't break defense. They're not going to give you the big plays. They're only going to rush 4. They may give you the gaps in the zones at some point. That's just their defense. But when you have a defense that you usually are, and I'm not even talking about the Redskins right now, just in
I was
general,
gonna say,
the NFL.
He's feeling what happened in D.C. yesterday.
Yes and no, but I'm just talking. You watch that with any NFL game. It's a 6-point game or a 4-point game or 5-point game where a field goal won't win it, so they need a touchdown. Automatically, it's okay. Prevent defense. We'll let them get to the 20-yard line. Then we'll actually start trying to stop them.
Well, it's a counter.
You mean after they get all the momentum and drive down the field in 20 seconds?
To counter that, look what happened to the Bengals when they didn't play their bend, don't break defense.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I don't know.
That's another thing with playing. That goes back to Matt saying he doesn't like when teams play conservatively. Well, the Bengals weren't playing very conservatively when they were up in that game against the Steelers and snapped the ball with the play clock still at 17 when they could have dropped the time on the game clock further down to win the game.
Well, now that to me is foolishness. I'm not
That's just not knowing that's not situational football.
Time management.
Right. That doesn't necessarily change the play call. My thought is I may not want to be quite as aggressive if I feel like, I obviously don't want my quarterback to force a ball into double coverage and have it picked off and give the opposing team some, advantage that they wouldn't have gained otherwise. But I want to keep my same game plan. Now, do I want to run the clock down? Yeah, I got a 2-touchdown lead or whatever it may be. Let's make sure we're not snapping that football until 2 seconds or 1 second on the play clock, and let's get as much time off as we can. But then I don't want to just go, let's hand off, punt, and let the defense win it for us. No. Keep playing your game. You came in with a game plan, right? You spent a week watching film. You spend a week practicing that game plan, and then you get into the game and you have some success and go, all right, fellas, we're scrapping the game plan now because we've got a lead. No, play the game plan.
It's worked.
It's the NFL, too. I'm sorry, there's no crying in football, just like there's no crying in baseball. If you blow a team out whatever to whatever, hello, you got some guys on your side that are getting paid some money to stop us from doing that. We're paying our guys money to score like that. You can't have a pity party or feel for your opponent in any way. The goal is to go out and win.
So have you been drawn back into the NFL at all yet this year?
Not necessarily. I did catch the fourth quarter of the Redskins game on TV yesterday and about the first quarter and a half of the Ravens game, and then was out to play some basketball and looked at some scores to see how the Chiefs and the Patriots were doing last night before going to bed, mostly because I needed to win in our pick'em, and I was hoping that the Chiefs were prevailing. They were not at that time. They did rally, but not enough. And so anyway, I'm like I said, I'll pay enough attention to
Are you more interested in it than you were expecting to be?
No.
Let's put it that way. No?
No, not really. I did see the highlight of the final play of the Buccaneers game yesterday,
where there was almost the crazy win at the end.
Almost the Buccaneer version of the Stanford Miracle. Throw the ball around, and if the ball's up just a little bit more and Deshaun Jackson is able to catch it,
he's in there. Yeah, no doubt.
So but did the Bucs deserve to win that game? No. They played like crap during the course of that game. They got behind, had to rally, and the rally fell short. And as sorry as they can feel for themselves and, if we'd only made this play. No, if you'd have made about 10 other plays during the game, you wouldn't have been in that position.
So you're telling me that Jameis going 30 for 41 for 395 yards and 4 touchdowns, the only thing you're looking at were the mistakes and the 2 interceptions that happened to be in the red zone?
I was going to say.
Did you? I was wondering if you read or heard or saw that the 2 interceptions. He threw 2 interceptions, both of which were in the red zone yesterday.
I'm a Tampa fan, and this tells you how much I'm into the game. I didn't even know those stats until you just read them to me. The only thing I saw was the final score, and when I clicked on it on, I think it was NFL Network or NFL.com, that the highlight was the first thing to pop up was that highlight right at the end of the game. And I saw that highlight and saw how they were, this close to maybe sneaking a win when they really deserved to lose. And I never even went any further than that. I've turned it right back off again and rolled on to the next thing.
Okay, well, hold on real quick. When you say that, you say you didn't pay attention, you didn't know anything until you turned on or looked at the NFL Network or ESPN, whatever you just said.
Right.
You didn't know Jameis Winston's number, so by the score alone, your thought was they deserved to lose?
Yeah.
How? How can you say they deserved to lose if you didn't know anything about the game other than the final score?
Well, I did know at least enough about the score of the game because, as I said, I was watching the fourth quarter of the Redskins game, and I did listen to much of the second and third quarter of that Redskins game while I was either at home or in my vehicle before getting a chance to be somewhere to watch that fourth quarter. So I had heard scoring updates and had heard how the Falcons had jumped out to the lead and then heard how the Buccaneers had rallied, only to see the Falcons go back out in front again, and then ultimately the last rally fail. So I knew a little bit of how the game had played out, but I didn't know that Winston had all of those yards.
I just think you're awful critical for a game that was really, while you think back and forth being within one score back and forth, this game was a several score back and forth at one time kind of game. I just think you're awful. I get you're not an NFL guy at the moment. I understand. I'm not trying to make you jump on the bandwagon.
Typical.
All I'm saying is you're very critical of somebody who is just came in wanting the Bucs to do better, wanting to look and say, you know what, Tampa Bay didn't deserve to win this one. When you didn't know.
They didn't.
Why didn't they?
Because they didn't play well enough. Listen,
they played well enough to be in the game at the end.
Just as you were cautiously optimistic going into that Monday Night Football game.
Okay, hold it. Now we're going down a different trail here.
No, we're not. Because you, as a Redskins fan, looked at it and went, this is the typical game that the Redskins will not play well and will lose. I'm telling you, as a Tampa fan, and especially in these years with Jameis Winston as quarterback, this is the game they lose and the game they play.
Okay, that's a different story. What you just said and what you looked at after the game were completely different.
Okay.
You saying that they didn't deserve to win that game is different than saying you didn't feel like they were going to win that game. You've now made two separate accusations / claims.
No.
You opened up saying they did not deserve to win that game based on the play itself.
Yes.
And now you're going back and saying they didn't deserve to win because you didn't think they were going to win going into this game.
I'm not saying they didn't deserve to win because I didn't think they would. If I didn't think they would win and they went out and won, hooray, they went out and won. But what I'm saying is, as a fan, that's typical. Hey, look at those numbers. Winston, very high completion percentage. Winston throws for a ton of yards. Winston threw for some big touchdowns, 4 of them. Wow, that's awesome. Except he also made 2 critical mistakes in the red zone, and the team ends up losing by, 34-29 or something like that? They had opportunities. Their defense has not been very strong, and while it was great to see them get out to that 2-0 start, and I even picked them to beat Pittsburgh because the Steelers were off to a slow start and clearly weren't playing well, the same thing happened in that game. They came out and fell flat on their face in the first half, rallied and played a pretty good second half, but it wasn't enough, and then since that time have simply gone out and laid an egg. So they've not done anything to draw me back in as a Tampa fan. Nothing. And the NFL as a whole, come on. You know, I'm watching a highlight of Emmanuel Sanders, isn't it, right, in Denver, who made the supposed touchdown catch and gets up and, points at the defender and makes a statement, and immediately the flag flies and he's all up in arms about that. I watched that highlight and went, how do they rule him down at the 1-yard line? Did you see the highlight of that catch?
I didn't know.
If there was any contact between the defensive back and the wide receiver, it was clearly incidental contact. It wasn't the defensive back in any way trying to make a tackle.
It doesn't matter.
He's falling
that doesn't matter.
It's all
it's
part
contact.
of the process.
It doesn't matter if it's incidental or intended. It doesn't matter. There needs to be contact.
It's another aspect of the NFL that turns me off. That was a touchdown catch, period. That because his momentum, the whole follow through of the catch led him right.
That's been a rule for the last 25 years.
I'm telling you. You watched that. Did you watch that highlight?
I'll watch it during the break.
You go watch that highlight and you tell me why in Sam Hill that's not a touchdown. But either way, the taunting call at the end, I don't know. There's always something. Every week officials are making calls that have teams going, man, this is bad. Man, these guys have to get better. And as soon as Mike Tomlin says that 2 weeks ago, he gets fined. What happens to an official who's out there making bad calls? You don't ever hear anything about what goes on in those situations.
They don't have to be accountable.
That's it. The NFL doesn't have to be accountable. They don't. Who are they accountable to?
How often do you hear from a college referee, though?
Well, the same thing. The NCAA doesn't have to be accountable
Exactly.
to anybody.
So why aren't you rah-rah, bah humbug with the NCAA, too? Why it's just the NFL? Again, I'm not trying to make you jump on the NFL bandwagon again. That's not my goal. But if that's if you're looking at that and going, yeah, every week there's a official making a bad play, there's a coach complaining, he's getting fined, the NFL doesn't have to be accountable, the rest don't have to be accountable, how is that different than the NCAA right now? It's not. So you can't look at that and go, that's one of the main reasons that the NFL is putting, and I know it's not one of the main reasons, but that's one of the reasons the NFL is frustrating me. Okay, well, it's not frustrating you on the NCAA level enough to turn off the TV.
Not that I turn the TV on for much of it either. I listen.
Well, okay.
I listened to the Mountaineer game on
You know what I mean.
on Saturday night, and wow, that was
what
bad.
a debacle that
was bad. You know, we went to the Shepherd game on Saturday.
Almost
Wow.
as big of a debacle.
Yeah, just you didn't see either of those scores coming or the way those games played out. Yeah, okay, you called the Iowa State game, but
No, I didn't think it was going to be that bad when I picked
but you
Iowa
didn't call
State.
the Shepherd game. You know, we both took the Rams in that one. So, well, look, we got to get a break.
I was going to
in.
say we are way past our break.
Because you've been trying to convince me to jump
I've
back
not
on
been
the NFL
convincing. I've been
bandwagon.
trying to clarify what you're talking about because you're jumping all over the place like leapfrog.
Keep up, man. Keep up.
I'll try. All right, we got to get in a break. We'll talk more NFL, high school, college, whatever we feel like we want to talk about next on Miller Time.
After removing your creme brulee from the oven, your dessert should look just scrumptious. Now sprinkle with some sugar. And use your torch to braise it to a golden, crispy brown.
Disasters happen. Fire, water, and natural disasters. Tell your insurance provider you prefer Blue Ridge Property Restore. Blue Ridge Property Restore, getting you back from disaster faster.
Join us next week when we tackle Baked Alaska.
You need to keep your vehicle in good working order, but car and truck repairs can be very costly. Bears Repair in Martinsburg performs all kinds of auto repairs at prices most often well below their competition. Bears Repair offers tune-ups, oil change and lubrication, small and large engine and transmission repair, wheel balancing, front-end alignment, exhaust system replacement, air conditioning checks, auto inspections, and new tires. Stop by for a free estimate at Bears Repair, 904 Winchester Avenue in Martinsburg, phone 262-0208. Bears Repair.
I'm Mark Istook with the NFL Network now on the Westwood One Radio Network. 3 touchdowns from Dak Prescott and another from Ezekiel Elliott powered a Cowboys' 40-point performance on the Jags defense as Dallas dominated Jacksonville in Arlington. Trailing by 1 with seconds left, Ben Roethlisberger hit Antonio Brown for a 31-yard touchdown, capping a Steelers come-from-behind win over the Bengals. The Rams remained undefeated by downing Denver. The Redskins outlasted the Panthers. The Vikings beat the Cardinals. Atlanta topped Tampa. And in London, the Seahawks took down the Raiders. The Ravens torched the Titans. The Texans toppled the Bills, and it took overtime, but the Dolphins, behind Brock Osweiler, buried the Bears on a field goal as time expired. And in the nightcap, the Patriots handed the Chiefs their first loss under the lights in Foxborough. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Not many things scare me, kid. Vampires, werewolves, children, not one bit. But you know what does scare me? Downtime, inefficiency, scares the living daylights out of me. That's why I use Grainger. They're America's #1 source for industrial supplies. Plus, they've got the inventory management solutions that keep us running. So we've got uptime, we've got efficiency, we've got productivity. When it comes to keeping your facility running, Grainger's got your back. Call or click Grainger.com to see for yourself. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
When you have a lot on your to-do list, the last thing you need to worry about is a car repair. Luckily, when you visit any of 16,000 Napa Auto Care centers, you get highly trained experts and a 24-month, 24,000-mile nationwide warranty, which means your car gets fixed right the first time, so you can spend less time worrying about the things you don't want to, like repairing your vehicle, and more time worrying about the things you do. Just visit NapaAutoCare.com to find the location nearest you.
Hello, this is Joe Manchin, and growing up in my hometown of Farmington taught me that people matter more than anything else. I've never cared what political party anyone belongs to, as long as they'll work with me to help West Virginia. I've been meeting with clergy and faith leaders all over West Virginia to talk about health care for people with pre-existing conditions. Patrick Morrissey's lawsuit would take away these protections. 800,000 West Virginians have a pre-existing condition, such as diabetes, high blood pressure, asthma, and cancer. Losing health care would be devastating for so many of our people. Patrick Morrissey is dead wrong, and he just doesn't know West Virginia. As West Virginians, we look after one another. That's why I'm also fighting for strong military, for secured borders, keeping our promises to our veterans and minors, and to protect Social Security and Medicare for our seniors. I'm Joe Manchin, candidate for the United States Senate, and I approve this message.
Who to vote for? The Eastern Panhandle Business Association endorses Tom Bibby for House of Delegates, 62nd District. The EPBA endorses candidates who favor a sensible free enterprise agenda, and Tom Bibby fits the bill. The EPBA was impressed with what Tom Bibby had to say during the EPBA's candidate forum and by answers he provided in his candidate questionnaire. Tom Bibby favors continued reforms in education, taxes, government operation, and the legal system that move West Virginia on the path to prosperity. Vote for Tom Bibby for House of Delegates. Paid for by EPBA PAC.
Hello, Berkeley County. This is Dr. William Zaki McGill. I've been hearing a lot of complaints about our county council. As a medical doctor with 25 years experience treating addictions, I learned that when I listen more, my patients complain less, and better solutions become obvious. Help me build more bridges between the county council and city council, and help me create creative solutions to our challenges. Please vote for William Zaki McGill, County Council.
Paid for by friends and family of Dr. McGill for County Council.
I'm watching the highlight as we come back into
he was down.
Miller
He was
time.
down at the one.
He was not down.
He was down at the one.
You watch that again in slow motion.
I watched the entire clip. I watched the clip you wanted me to.
No.
Emmanuel Sanders was down.
No, not down.
There was
Not
contact with the defender
Not down.
after the catch had been made.
No.
And then Emmanuel Sanders
the catch
falls
was
to the
still
ground.
being made. No, the catch was being. He was falling while receiving the ball. I'm telling you. We'll go back and look at it again. Where I can pinpoint out
where you can learn me,
you know what you're actually seeing and slow things down and watch. I'm telling you.
Are you saying that I can't look at a football play and figure out what's happening?
That's what the NFL is telling you and me both. We do that all the time. Every week we watch plays and go, I know what just happened, and then they come back and go, you have no idea. This is what's going on. Seriously, it happens all the time. Congratulations to your Redskins, by the way. I thought they were going to let that one slip away.
Me too.
When they got
totally.
Held, got held to that field goal, the first thought that went in my mind was 24-23 final.
Yep. Glad I wasn't the only one thinking that. And I know I wasn't the only one thinking that. But the bend don't break defense, and somehow when they're inside the 20-yard line, I'm going, this sucks.
So they let you get away with holding in some of those situations, too? Look, I wanted the Redskins to win.
That last play?
But, yeah, that last play is clearly a hold. Clearly.
The way I look at it, and there's holding on every single NFL play. And I know it's easy for me to say because the Redskins came away with that win. I can't tell you how many times I will watch a play, rewind it, and watch either Preston Smith or Ryan Kerrigan on the outside get put in a chokehold,
yep.
And it's not called a hold. So while I feel that probably could have been a penalty, I'm not sure I would have been upset. I mean, I would have been upset at the Redskins, but I wouldn't have been mad at the officials for making that call if that would have been a hold on the last play that the Panthers had. To me, it's just everything evens out at some point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I guess it's consistency. That's
yeah.
what you always say, right? You want what I want from an official.
I want you to call it the same way on their side as you do on our side.
And
if you don't get one on our side, make it up something. Just to me, the way, especially when it comes to holding, there are so many holds that aren't called, then are called that shouldn't be. It just everything works out. And the Redskins should have won that game yesterday. So.
Yeah, they were the better team.
They were. I truly believe they were.
Well, they came out on top, so that shows it, and they got the hold at the end to preserve that victory. All right, We've got, tomorrow in sports history. Coming up next on Miller Time.
CBS News Update. President Trump says reports that Washington Post columnist Jamal Khashoggi was killed during a Saudi interrogation are just rumors. He spoke during and just before a trip to survey hurricane damage in Florida and Georgia.
It sounded to me like maybe these could have been rogue killers.
Turkish officials conducted an inspection of the Saudi consulate in Istanbul, where Khashoggi was last seen. CBS News national security consultant Mike Morrell.
The Turkish narrative is more compelling because they say they have evidence, and the Saudis have done no explanation. So I think that is more compelling, and that's where most people have gone.
Lawmakers are reviewing their response to the incident.
There are a number of options being considered by Congress. One could be halting arms sales to Saudi Arabia outright. Another might curtail U.S. military aid to Saudi-led forces in Yemen, where they're battling Iranian-backed rebels.
Cammie McCormick, CBS News Update. I'm Pam Coulter.
Now, with your local forecast, weatherman Bob Kukin.
Quite cool this evening and overnight as temperatures fall through the 50s into the middle 40s. Clouds increasing, and there could be a few showers or even a quick thunder shower through the late night, early morning Saturday. Saturday, we're back to sunshine by midday through the afternoon at a high temperature close to 60. And more sunshine for Sunday, too, after we start out in the chilly upper 30s and head for a high of 60. I'm Bob Kukin, Talk Radio WRNR.
WVU Medicine is pleased to announce the addition of orthopedic surgeon Dr. Craig Clark to the Jefferson Medical Center staff and WVU Medicine Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Dr. Clark joins Dr. Bradford Wright and the team at WVU Medicine Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, offering leading-edge, full-service orthopedic care. Both board-certified orthopedic surgeons specialize in total joint replacements and general orthopedics as well as sports medicine. For more info, call WVU Medicine Orthopedics and Sports Medicine at 304-725-2663.
Hi, I'm Brett Rogers, candidate for House of Delegates, 63rd District. I'm a lifelong resident of Berkeley County and the son of 2 career educators. I support gun rights and other civil liberties. I support tax relief and elimination of inefficient business regulations. I support teachers and parents and competition in education. I'm running for delegate to speak out forcefully in Charleston for the interest of Berkeley County. Instead of the same old, I'll be your breath of fresh air downstate. I'm the fiscally conservative, open-minded, and energetic choice for our community. This election, vote for Brett Rogers for delegate, paid for by candidate.
Your NBC Sports Radio update starts now.
Niners-Packers Monday Night Football, a little after 8 o'clock Eastern tonight. Randall Cobb, Geronimo Allison inactive. Elsewhere in the NFL, the Bucs have fired defensive coordinator, the highest-paid defensive coordinator in football, Mike Smith. The team was ranked 31st in defense as they stood. The Patriots have identified the fan who threw that beer at Tyreek Hill. They have banned him from all future events at Gillette Stadium. 7:39 p.m. Dodgers and the Brewers in game number 3 of the NLCS. Some soccer news today. Usain Bolt's agent confirmed that the sprinter-turned-soccer player has received an offer from a major European club. He scored 2 goals last week as part of an Australian side Central Coast Mariners trial game. I'm Keith Irizarry. It's NBC Sports Radio and the NBC Sports Radio mobile app.
In whatever you do, it's good to go the extra mile. But when we go to Antwerp, Belgium to buy a diamond for you, we go the extra 7,982 miles, the distance from here to Antwerp. And when you see your new diamond, the sparkle in your eyes will tell us it was worth it to go the distance. Hi, I'm Lori from Bechtel Jewelers. Dave and I are leaving soon on a diamond buying trip. And here's what going the extra 7,982 miles means for you. A more beautiful diamond than you thought possible for your money. Antwerp is the diamond capital of the world. We work directly with the men and women who buy and cut the diamonds. We personally inspect thousands of diamonds to pick only the best out of each parcel. And believe me, we reject hundreds of diamonds for each one we buy. Would you like to own a diamond that will blow by other diamonds in a flash? We're ready to go the extra 7,982 miles for you. See us at Bechtel Jewelers, Route 11 south of 51 in Inwood.
Fire off this season with Sunfire Energy Solutions. When it comes to gas, wood, and pellet fireplaces, stoves, and inserts, we've got it all. Quadrifire, Harmon, Heat and Glow, Vermont Castings, and much more. Come by and see the 3,000 square foot showroom located in downtown Martinsburg with hundreds of outdoor amenities to choose from. Are you already dreading the expected heating bill increases? We can help. Sunfire Energy Solutions is your total energy experts. Find out more on Facebook and sunfireenergysolutions.com or stop by the showroom today.
We welcome you back into Miller Time on this Monday evening. Matt and Matt with you going until 7 o'clock tonight. Then it's off to the Dana Holgerson call-in show. I'll be anxious to hear how that one goes.
Sure, he'll be nice and chatty tonight.
I cannot imagine that he will be, but it's his own show. He's got to show up and talk at least at some point. Did you hear him after the game?
Bits and pieces.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't be happy after that.
As bad an offense, he said, in 30 years that he's been around the game.
You and I had a chance to be one of the 3 media members that interviews the coaches and players after the Shepherd games. It's usually you, Kaz, and I, Rick Kozlowski from the Journal, and that was hands down the most unpleasant post-game interviews I've ever had to do. And I was telling you, what is this now, 5 years I've been in sports media dealing with the Shepherd University Rams. That was the first time I'd ever had to, in person, interview somebody after a loss. We're spoiled. We really are spoiled.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But it's fun.
All right, before we get into tomorrow's date in sports history, this segment of the program brought to you by Brown Funeral Homes and Cremations, Robert Fields and Sons, a family-owned full-service funeral home that has proudly served our area since Matt Miller was a wee lass since 1880.
Just a wee one, yes.
Just kidding. You're not quite that old. All right, bottom of the hour. You know what it's time for.
There it is.
I was expecting you to say something before I hit the music, but
I was waiting to hear the music, and then I would know.
Hit the music that we have no idea where it came from.
It's a good selection, though.
It is. No, I was looking for some sort of upbeat music, and this was like the title music to a different video featuring a different song. So I was like, hey, I'm going to use this. All right, taking a look at tomorrow's date in sports history. That is the 16th of October. 1968, the Milwaukee Bucks play their first game, losing to the Chicago Bulls 89-84.
Not a bad score.
Especially for your first game in the NBA. That was before the three-point line, though.
Okay.
So a lot of small ball being played there. A lot of real basketball being played there.
It's back when big guys were more relevant to the game.
Yeah. At least in the NBA level.
Yes.
Hey, 22 days until college basketball tips off.
Woohoo.
I know you're excited.
Yeah.
Also in 1968, Jim Dorey sets the Toronto Maple Leaf penalty record. 48 minutes on 9 penalties in a game. And get this, and this is going to blow your brain a little bit, 44 minutes on 7 penalties in 1 period. There's only 20 minutes in a period, people. And he accumulated 44 minutes worth of penalties in 1 period. That's got to be close to an NHL record, not just a Toronto Maple Leafs record.
Wonder if your penalty kill unit is not happy with him at the end of the game, right? They've got to play a whole period and a 2 periods, basically.
2 1/4 periods.
Without being down by a man. But, so you're a power play.
And at what point do you not just yank him out of the game and go, all right, you're done?
Well, he's already out of the game.
Knock it off.
He's in the penalty box. You
so
can't
48 minutes of a 60-minute hockey game, he did not play. Incredible. Let's go to 1969. While they landed on the moon that year, the New York Mets, the 100-1 odd New York Mets, beat the Orioles 5-3 in Game 5 to win the 66th World Series. So 100-1 odds.
The Miracle Mets. That's pretty good odds.
That'd have been a good wager. All right, I'm going to put $20 down on the Mets to win the World Series.
It's never going to happen. Don't do it.
That'll never happen. 1969 also met in that same game. Cleon Jones awarded first base when shoe polish on the ball proves he was hit by a pitch. He would score after he got to first base on a home run.
There you go.
So
there was evidence.
Can you put shoe polish on the ball anymore?
The shoe polish came off of his shoe when the pitch hit him. See, there was the
Was
evidence.
was that what
Boom.
happened?
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking that was some way.
The shoe polish was the evidence. Hey,
so
that
it hit
pitch
his
hit me.
foot.
All right, give me the baseball. Yep, look, there's polish right there. Yep, it came off my shoe.
All right, I'll take your word on it.
That's why you polish your cleats before every game.
1983, the Orioles would get a World Series trophy, beating the Philadelphia Phillies 4-3 in the 80th World Series. And one more for you. Actually, we'll do two more. 1988, Orel Hershiser, the first pitcher to pitch a shutout in the playoffs and the World Series in the same year.
Nice.
It's a fun record to have.
Tell you, he was dominant for a number of years.
And one more. In 1991, Dallas Maverick Roy Tarpley becomes 7th player in the NBA to be banned for life for the league's anti-drug agreement.
Ooh.
Stay off the dope, kids.
Unless you want to live in a van down by the river.
All right, hold on. I got to do one. This one's cool.
Okay.
This was the very, very bottom one, so I hadn't gotten to it yet. Ed Whitlock, at 85, becomes the oldest person to compete in a marathon. Finished it in 3 hours and 56 minutes.
Wow. You go, Ed. I couldn't finish a marathon if I wanted to.
How scary. That's 20,
let alone in 3 hours.
A marathon's 26 or 27?
26
point
yeah,
something, right?
Plus.
Yeah, it's 26.2, I think, or something like that.
We have everything that we want at our fingertips nowadays. Let me find out.
So think about an 85-year-old man finishing 26-plus miles in under 4 hours.
26 miles, 385 yards.
That's insane. Way to go, Ed. I know I couldn't do that.
Ed, I have a hard time driving from here to Hagerstown, let alone thinking I'm going to run from
That's
here
further
to
than
Hagerstown.
Hagerstown.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
probably to
depending on-
Hagerstown and back.
No. Hagerstown's about 15 or so.
Is it?
It's yeah.
I didn't think it was that far.
Close to. By the time you get into Hagerstown proper, so.
All right. Still,
Or head the other direction and go more towards Winchester, and you're probably in about the same boat. But
yeah, just run from here to Winchester and don't stop.
in 3 hours.
Do it in just under 4 hours. At 85 years old.
Let me get to 85 first, and then I'll tell you.
Yeah, that's hard enough as it is. So way to go, Ed.
All right, hey, let's finish up the Washington Redskins. We were talking about a big win for the Redskins, and while it is a big win, there's still a lot going on with this team, right? Talk to me about the second half offense for the Redskins.
They still haven't scored a second half touchdown this year, and it's not bothering me as much now because while it's nice for the Redskins to be able to get into the end zone, I love when they get into the end zone. At least in yesterday's game against Carolina, they were able to put together drives. And even if they didn't get field goals out of those drives, they were able to take some time off the clock. They were able to run the ball successfully in the second half. While they didn't get into the end zone, I didn't think their overall level of play drastically declined like it had in the other two wins.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Right.
They still didn't play nearly as good in the second half as they did in the first half. But
they controlled the football.
That's it. While they didn't find the end zone, they kicked 2 clutch field goals, which without those, you're in some trouble, right? I mean, looking back at that game, take away 2 field goals to tie game. And Carolina kick a field goal and win at the end.
Right, I was going to say they wouldn't even have
including a Dustin Hopkins career-long 56-yard field goal.
Yep.
That's tough in kind of slimy conditions. So kudos to him. But I tell you what, I am really impressed about how well Adrian Peterson's running the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, I was texting my dad this during the game yesterday. I can't remember the last time the Redskins had a running back. I think you have to go back to Clinton Portis, where Adrian Peterson can create 3 yards out of a 4-yard loss. And he can hit a hole. So the problem with the Redskins running backs in the past is they've been zone read running backs. It's okay, let me wait for something to open up, and no, wait, nothing opened up, so I'm just going to be stopped here. Adrian Peterson sees a sliver and makes it happen.
Yep.
He may hesitate for a half a second, but then he'll hit whatever hole he can find. Even if he only gains 2 yards, he gains 2 yards.
Yep.
And it's so refreshing having a Redskin running back that can be in the backfield for a loss of 3 and end up by just putting his shoulder down and leaning forward, and he can stumble forward, and it can go from, okay, it's going to be a 2nd and 13 to, okay, it's 2nd and a long 7. That's nice. And that makes you keep the defense honest when it comes to the run.
But you look at it, and they've got to find a way to do it more consistently. Not just Adrian Peterson, but blocking along the front line and everything else. Because you look at the games they've lost, they haven't been able to run.
Yeah.
The
offensive lines looked awful.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I agree with you there. But yesterday it was nice to finally have a running attack that looked like that.
Yeah, I saw a couple of runs in that fourth quarter from AP that were outstanding, that helped to keep that final field goal drive alive, that ultimately, when they kicked the field goal, I thought was going to be their demise. As soon as it went through, I went, okay, 24-23, they're going to end up losing this. But they held on. 2
things. One, Jason Colrick wants his copyright fee because you started this conversation with talk to me about. Apparently he coined that phrase.
I forgot.
That is the Jason. I was going to say that's the Jason Colrick phrase, but I figured I wouldn't. And you and I talk all the time about how average the Redskins are. I read you these stats earlier, and it's actually a little scary.
Yeah.
How 500 and how up and down the Redskins have been. Listen to these stats. The Redskins are 1-1 in their last 2 games, 2-2 in their last 4 games, 3-3 in their last 6 games, 5-5 over their last 10, 6-6 over their last 12. If that's not scary enough, it keeps going. 7-7 over their last 14, 10-10 over their last 20, 16-16-1 in their last 33, that tie against Cincinnati and London a couple years back, and 18-18-1 in their last 37. That is the textbook definition of being average and a 500 team at its finest. I wonder how nobody picked up on these before now. Credit Dan Steinberg for the Washington Post on that, by the way.
So win 1, lose 1, win 1, lose 2, win 2, lose 1. You know.
Yeah, they've all evened out.
Well, think about it. Their record is typically what,
right around
9-7?
500, 9-7, 8-7-1, 7-9, right around there.
Yeah.
But I've read that this morning. I was like, wow.
So
that's incredible how average they've been.
But look at the glass half full, right? I mean,
there are a lot of teams that would like to be 500 over the last 37 games.
And if you're average right now, hopefully that means you're only a few steps away from getting above average, right? And so hopefully with some of the moves in the offseason, it's going to take a little time, obviously, to gel with Alex Smith and AP and draft picks that came in.
That's the other thing. You look at this team, Jordan Reed didn't have an offseason dealing with his injuries.
Mm-hmm.
Alex Smith's a new quarterback. Adrian Peterson was added 4 days ago, it seems like. Paul Richardson's a new addition at receiver. Yeah. This team is still trying to they're 5 games in to a new offense, and they're now 3-2 and at first place right now in the NFC East. So while they've shown definite signs of frustration, it's especially on the offense, or at least on the offensive side of the football, they're still trying to figure things out.
Mm-hmm.
They're still new. So hopefully that can improve. Let's hear from Jay Gruden.
Let's do it.
These were the head coach's thoughts after the game yesterday, the win over Carolina.
Well, I think it's good. I think that's the way this football season is going to be for a lot of teams in the NFL. I don't think anybody's going to enjoy success all the time. You're going to face adversity, and we have to meet it. And it was great to see our guys bounce back after a tough performance on Monday night on a short week against a very talented and very well-coached Carolina Panther football team. So I'm happy. 3-2 right now, and we faced adversity throughout the game, but everybody kept fighting and stayed together, stayed positive, and finished the game.
And, Matt, you know what this means, right? Now that we're putting the final touches on a win against Carolina, you know what this means, right? It's Monday of Cowboy Week.
I wonder where you were going.
It is Redskin Dallas Week.
And the Cowboys coming off of a stunning win.
Yeah, who saw that coming?
40 points against Jacksonville?
Dak Prescott playing like that. Because, that's an amazing win for the Cowboys. But really, Dak Prescott put on a clinic yesterday.
So is that not good news for the Redskins as
the
Cowboys have some momentum coming in?
I don't think they're going to be.
You don't think they're going to?
I don't think there's going to be an ad playing anymore because ESPN decides to pop all those up. I don't think they can duplicate that. I don't think Dak Prescott can. He didn't have nearly as strong of a second half.
The Redskins
that first
have
half,
not had a ton of success lately against the Cowboys, though, right?
That's an understatement. They hadn't had a win against Carolina in Cam Newton's tenure either.
Okay.
That was the first win. Then the fifth game, Cam Newton had never lost the Redskins till yesterday, and had never thrown an interception before yesterday. So, but yes, it'd be very nice if the Redskins could snap the ugliness streak they have against the Cowboys as of late.
So you're cautiously optimistic going into Cowboy
Week. It's Cowboy. You throw all your you throw all the cautions out the way. It's a rivalry game. Again, the year the Cowboys went 1-15, Aikman's rookie year.
But you've told me this.
What was the one win the Cowboys had that year against the Redskins?
This rivalry has lost a little luster.
It's lost a little luster, but it's still there. Again, it's always going to be there.
Right.
And with some of this new, you still hear at the end of each there's a bunch of press conferences yesterday with players after the game are looking ahead of Dallas. It's Dallas week, and they rookies. You look at Jonathan Allen. They know, they understand. It's the Redskins and the Cowboys. Especially. You look at a guy like Jonathan Allen, who grew up right outside of Redskin Park.
Yeah,
he grew up with this rivalry, so it may be guys that still grew up with this rivalry in this area can bring it back, but it never went anywhere.
No.
So it's Dallas Redskins week. It should be fun, and hopefully it's a good game on Saturday or Sunday afternoon.
All right, we'll wrap up a little NFL coverage when we come back. We've yet to talk about a big win for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They have turned things around after a very slow start to the season and got it done with a last-second touchdown. As much as the Redskins held on for a win, the Steelers rallied to get theirs. We'll talk about that next on Miller Time.
Honda certified pre-owned vehicles go through a 182-point inspection before they're sold. But it wasn't always 182 points. It used to be more, like point 253, where every previous owner goes through an extensive lie detector test.
Nice Civic.
Thank you.
So, where were you in it the night of February 5th, 2017?
My parents' house for a barbecue.
Bring any leftovers into the car with you?
Yes.
Foil or plastic?
Both.
Well played. You passed.
Or point 210, the dog hair interrogation.
Nice Accord, Mark. Bet you thought you could fool us, huh? What's this Labradoodle hair doing in the back seat?
It's probably from my friend's clothes. They have a dog.
Sure it's not your dog's hair?
I don't have a dog.
Oh. Then you passed.
You can see why we cut it down to 182 points. Visit HondaCertified.com to check out our latest certified pre-owned inventory from KBB.com's 2018 Best Value brand.
Miller Honda, south of Winchester, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty. www.mymillerhonda.com.
Based on 2018 brand image awards from Kelley Blue Book. Visit KBB.com for information.
Let's see. Load the clothes in the washing machine. Add detergent. Turn on the washer. Wait, where's all this water coming from? Oh, no!
Disasters happen. Fire, water, and natural disasters. Tell your insurance provider you prefer Blue Ridge Property Restore. Blue Ridge Property Restore, getting you back from disaster faster.
She's gonna kill me.
You've been injured, you're missing work, the medical bill collectors keep calling, and the other person's insurance company wants a lot of confusing paperwork signed and returned. At Ferretti Law Office, we handle these situations to protect your rights and get you the compensation you deserve. We explain how the insurance coverages work for your benefit and what a lawyer like me can do to make a difference. Call Ferretti Law Office at 264-8505 to schedule an appointment to discuss your situation for free. At Ferretti Law Office, we're here to help.
The Pizza Oven of Inwood, a delicious and affordable family tradition since 1996. But the Pizza Oven is more than just great pizza. They've got a menu for everybody, and they're famous for their cheese fries. Hungry for lunch? Every day from 11 a.m. until 2, you can enjoy the all-you-can-eat buffet, just $5.99. There's dinner specials Monday through Thursday, and you've got to try the new homemade desserts like their signature Gilligan's Island pie. It's the Pizza Oven of Inwood. Comfortable, casual dining and takeout. Call 304-229-6701. The Pizza Oven. L.A. Roberts in historic downtown Martinsburg is celebrating 100 years in business with their sale of the century. Through October 27th, you can save 25 to 50% on L.A. Roberts' exclusive brands of fine jewelry, timepieces, and gifts. Take 20% off repairs on jewelry, watches, and clocks. And while you're here, enter to win one of our $100 gift cards. L.A. Roberts Jewelers. Quality, value, and service for 100 years at 146 North Queen Street in historic downtown Martinsburg.
I like Mike because he's not afraid to speak his mind.
even if it means being politically incorrect.
I like Mike because he fights for people like me, the little guy that always gets forgotten about.
I like Mike because I value his opinions and his efforts in improving education in West Virginia for all students and school employees.
I like Mike because he votes right.
Because he's the type of leader we need in Charleston.
Accountable, ethical, responsible. Elect Michael Folk for West Virginia State Senate.
Hello, I'm Michael Folk, a lifelong resident of West Virginia, husband and father. I worked my way through school and life with honesty, hard work, and determination. These principles have served me well in athletics, education, farming, and aviation, and have carried me through years of fighting for a more accountable government at the local and state level. These same core principles will allow me to serve you well in Charleston. I believe true leadership is sticking your neck out for right, even when it goes against the establishment. You can help me put principle over politics and beat the odds one more time.
Paid for by the committee to elect Michael Folk.
Oh, mama, I can hear you a-crying. You're so scared and all alone. Hangman is coming down from the gallows and
I don't have very long, man. Like about 3 minutes, and we're at the top of the hour. Where did this first hour go?
We talk a lot.
We do. We do.
It is a talk show.
It's good thing that's a portion of what we're supposed to be doing here. Hey, let's jump quickly into the Steelers. Now 3-2-1 with a win at Cincinnati, beating the Bengals yesterday by a 28-21 score. Saw the Bengals get a score that put them out in front, and then watch the Steelers go right down the field, and Ben Roethlisberger to Antonio Brown with 10 seconds left will give the Steelers the victory.
Okay, so if you're Le'Veon Bell, and James Conner yesterday rushes for 111 yards and 2 touchdowns, or is averaging 5.8 yards a pop, are you nervous? Or are you going, okay, at least they'll trade me now?
I saw a headline yesterday on ESPN. I never clicked the article to actually read it, but the headline said that sources with the Steelers say they've yet to hear from Le'Veon Bell. I mean, Bell told what ESPN, wasn't it? He came out in an interview.
In week 7.
Yeah, that he'd be back in week 7, that he didn't want to come back earlier and, risk injury and hurting his body because he feels like he's worth more than what they wanted to offer and so forth, but that he would be back. But according to this headline, while he's told that to ESPN, he apparently hasn't talked to the Steelers at all about it. So, and not that maybe he would be, but at least his agent should be in contact with the team, I would imagine.
You'd think so.
I don't know. I've never been in a position where someone would offer me $14 million in 1 year to be able to turn that down and go, no, that's not enough.
But you wouldn't.
I'll just sit this one out.
I'll hold this one out and not make and live off the 20s of millions of dollars that I've made the last couple years.
Oh, wait a minute. I forgot I had made those. Yeah, see, that's
exactly.
I don't understand it.
So back to the original question. What do you how does because James Conner's had a pretty good year so far.
I don't think.
Do you think if
that
Le'Veon Bell comes back, he automatically takes a starting role back for a guy who threw what is Pittsburgh now through 6 games?
Yeah, 3-2-1
has 453 yards and 7 touchdowns. Le'Veon Bell just automatically jumps back into the starting spot after that?
To me, it's going to be a very tough call for Mike Tomlin unless the higher-ups in the organization make the call.
Well, if the higher-ups of the organization make the call, then you don't need a head coach anymore.
I
don't know how you're Mike Tomlin, how that sends any sort of a message. Hey, we thought you were good enough. We put the franchise tag on you, so whenever you want to show back up, you're going to start automatically. Rather than a guy who's busted his butt with the uncertainty and comes out and has 450 yards, 7 touchdowns through the first 6 games.
But think about it, because we only have about 30 seconds. Think about it through the break. Maybe we mention afterwards. But if Bell didn't want to come and play, if he now shows up and you're not getting him on the field, how much of a distraction is he now going to become? I mean, you're already dealing sometimes with Antonio Brown, who's happy today because he caught the game winner yesterday. But if they'd have lost that game, he'd have probably been boo-hooing because you didn't throw me the ball enough and I'm open every single play and you never get me the ball. And, well, So could he create havoc more than help even if he does come back? We'll find out. Let's talk about it next on Miller Time.
CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by TheraWorks Relief.
I'm Pam Coulter. CBS News has confirmed that Saudi Arabia is preparing to admit wrongdoing in a mission involving Washington Post columnist Jamal Khashoggi, who vanished during a visit to the Saudi consulate in Istanbul. CBS's Steve Futterman joins us live with the latest.
And Pam, CBS News can now confirm that the Saudi government appears ready to admit that Jamal Khashoggi did die as the result of an interrogation that went wrong. Sources say the Saudi government is prepared to admit that officials in the Saudi consulate in Turkey did begin the interrogation, but then things apparently went too far. This, of course, would contradict previous statements by the Saudi government denying any involvement. Saudi officials at one point said Khashoggi left the consulate alive. Reporting live, Steve Futterman, CBS News.
President Trump got an up-close look at the damage caused by Hurricane Michael.
It's hard to believe when you're above it in a plane and to see the total devastation. You got to see no houses left. Not even the pads are left. It's incredible.
Mr. Trump toured the community in Lynn Haven, Florida with Governor Rick Scott. Crews are still looking for people who were unaccounted for in the hard-hit town of Mexico Beach. CBS's Jerika Duncan in Panama City.
Right now, the focus is to make sure people have what they need. So the water, the food, shelter. In the long term, they're talking about making sure these folks get electricity. That's a huge need. You talk to people around here and, you know, they're worried that right now there are reports that they might not have electricity for another 2 weeks.
About 200,000 customers are without power in 6 states. Lawyers for Harvard University were in a Boston courtroom today to fight a lawsuit that charges the school discriminates against Asian American students. WBZ-TV's Michelle Fisher.
Before opening statements inside, silent demonstrators marched outside. Their signs did the talking with a loud and clear message to Harvard. Crystal Liu traveled across the country to show her support.
6 of us came all the way from California.
The group that bought on the lawsuit is accusing the university of discriminating against Asian American applicants during the admissions process.
Sears, an icon of the American retail industry, has filed for Chapter 11.
Everybody is closing because of online shopping.
I have not been here in years. I only came because this is where I got my lawnmower and I need a blade.
The company, which began as a mail-order business 132 years ago and whose catalog was a fixture in just about every home, says it will close 142 of its remaining 700 stores. The Dow was off 89 today. NASDAQ fell 66. This is CBS News.
To experience relief from muscle cramps in your legs and feet, use TheraWorks Relief Fast-Acting Foam. Get TheraWorks Relief today in the pain relief aisle at your local pharmacy or TheraWorksRelief.com.
Did you know that the IRS is getting more aggressive these days and they're using private agencies to track you down? Don't wait. If you owe more than $10,000, take advantage of the Fresh Start Initiative, a program in place that can help you now. You can save thousands and possibly have your taxes forgiven. Call the Tax Representation Helpline now about the Fresh Start program. If you qualify, it will stop the IRS collection agencies from coming after you within 24 hours. Get the break you deserve and call about the Fresh Start Initiative now. Call the Tax Representation Hotline now at 800-295-1046. Hurry, or it will just get worse. Let tax representation stop the IRS from targeting you within 24 hours. Call the hotline now at 800-295-1046. That's 800-295-1046. There is help for those of you who owe $10,000 or more, but it's important that you take action before these programs change. Call the special tax representation hotline now at 800-295-1046. 800-295-1046.
Now your local news from Talk Radio WRNR. FedEx expects to add more than 55,000 seasonal positions throughout the U.S. this year. More than 1,800 people are set to be hired for their ground facilities in Martinsburg and Hagerstown. Hiring is for frontline employees, specifically package handler positions. For more information, visit groundwarehousejobs.fedex.com. The West Virginia Board of Education adopted 4 policies during its monthly meeting last week. All of them had been available for a 30-day comment period, and comments were considered in the adopted policies. One of the 4 establishes procedures and operating policies for multi-county career and technical education centers. Officials say it more clearly defines the director and counselor roles, aiming to enhance the delivery of CTE programs to students. The annual Bob Barriner Apple Trample 5K happens this Saturday. The race starts at 11 o'clock in the morning at the McCormack Center on WVU Medicine Berkeley Medical Center's campus. I'm Adam Boardman, Talk Radio WRNR News.
Now, with your local forecast, weatherman Bob Kukin.
We'll see temperatures holding pretty steady in the 50s through the evening, even on into the late night. Low temperature at sunrise, right around 50 degrees, lots of clouds, and a couple of showers that begin to develop before sunrise. We'll see scattered showers throughout Monday into Monday night. Monday's high 70, Monday night's low 48 to 50, and on Tuesday, sunny skies, cool, highs upper 50s. I'm Bob Kukin, Talk Radio WRNR.
Hey, let me ask you something. Would you seat your 3-year-old child on a windowsill? Would you seat them beside a lit fireplace or by the deep end of a pool? One last question. Would you seat your child in a car seat that's not correct for them? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Secure their future. Seat them in the correct car seat. For more information, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
W. Harley Miller Systems provides custom integration services such as home or office automation, audio-video distribution, home theater, networking, and much more. With a Control4 system, you can consolidate into a single and simple solution, eliminating the need for a table full of remotes or dozens of apps on your cell phone. Want to check on the house from work? Want to listen to your favorite music while cooking dinner? Want to enjoy your favorite movie in your own home theater? Contact W. Harley Miller to make your dreams come true. Phone 304-350-1931 or visit WHMsystems.com.
We have the tools, we have the talent. It's Miller time.
It's Miller time on Talk Radio WRNR. A look at local sports with the play-by-play voice of local sports, Matt Miller.
And we welcome you back into hour number 2 of the program on this Monday evening, with you until 7 o'clock when the Dana Holgerson Show comes your way from Kegler's Sports Bar in Morgantown.
Should be an upbeat and chipper one this evening.
We'll find out right here from 7 to 9. Then at 9 o'clock tonight, we will join in progress Monday Night Football, the fantastic primetime matchup that has the hapless, helpless, not very good since Jimmy Garoppolo got injured San Francisco Giants taking on
49ers. The 49ers. We're talking football,
49ers.
Man. The Giants are a baseball team.
I know. I had the Major League playoffs in my mind with the Dodgers getting ready for game, 3 of their series tonight.
I think you just had an old fart moment, actually.
It's probably one of those.
Because you were writing down football stuff. I have it hard to believe you were thinking about the Giants, who aren't even in the playoffs this year.
Playoffs?
Talking playoffs?
So, okay, the 49ers against the so-so Green Bay Packers, even with one of the best quarterbacks in the game.
The Redskins, how good can they possibly be?
Yeah, I tell you, that shows you one thing right there. But they've just been up and down. So, the Green Bay Packers have not been anything to write home about. So it should be a good one tonight. Tune in at 9 o'clock. Have I talked you into it yet?
Who's the toilet bowl matchup this week?
In the NFL?
Yeah.
I don't know.
The Thursday night game? Did you know what I was referring to?
I haven't paid any attention. I haven't looked ahead.
All right, so we left you going into the break.
Last week wasn't a bad matchup, Eagles-Giants. It wasn't a great one because the Giants obviously have been struggling, but at least there was a rivalry there in the NFC East. But
I guess.
So then this Thursday nights, did you find it? It's on the sheet there in front of you if you look.
Broncos and Cardinals. Ugh. Combined, they have 3 wins and 9 losses.
Nice.
Can't wait to watch that one.
And less time to prepare. Woohoo! I'm all over that one.
All right, we left you going into the break with a question. Actually, Matt left me with a question. Although, feel free to call in at any point throughout the show. 304-263-6540. Again, 304-263-6540. If you want to talk Mountaineers or high school football, and we'll get into it in a little bit. Or we're talking right now. But you posed a question, which was?
We were talking about Le'Veon Bell and his potential return to the Steelers. He's told ESPN he's coming back week 7, which would be after a bye, and then he would be ready to play at that point in time. Apparently, according to an article yesterday, the Steelers are going, he hadn't talked to us yet. So our thought was, you asked me the question first, should he automatically get the starting job back? I don't know. I mean, that's going to be the call of Mike Tomlin. I don't think so because he hasn't been there. But at the same time, then I ask you the ensuing question, does he become a liability more than he becomes an asset if he comes back in and then doesn't get the playing time that he thinks he deserves. I mean, he's all about himself right now and what's going on. So how is he going to show up and be in the locker room? And, he's already been called out by some teammates before the season ever got started. And now he's going to get there, and if Tomlin says, look, you're going to have to earn your way back on the field, and he pitches a hissy and, acts up.
Which he will if he doesn't come back in and start.
So does it help that he even comes back?
I don't think so. I think the best thing that could happen is he either holds out the entire, or at least for the Steelers. I quite frankly don't care what the best thing for him is. He's sitting on a $14 million contract, so he's being too stubborn to sign it. But my thing is, I think the best thing for the Steelers is for either Le'Veon Bell to hold out or find somebody stupid enough to trade for him.
I don't see anybody doing it because the amount of money that they'll pay him.
I don't see any positives coming back from the Steelers bringing him back onto the roster and automatically putting him in the starting role. Because, again, what message does that send to your fan base? Does that send to your team? Hey, you can act childish and pig-headed and come back halfway through the season, and because we think you're good enough, you're just automatically going to start over a guy who, again, has 450 yards and 7 touchdowns through 6 games. That's a lose-lose situation unless you can to me, bringing him back is a losing situation no matter what you do because he's either going to sit on the bench and most likely complain that he's not playing, or you're going to kick somebody down in the depth chart who's, quite frankly, having a pretty darn good year so far.
Well, I could see him coming back and being maybe your third down back because he catches the ball so well out of the backfield. So you got Connor in there.
You don't put a franchise tag on your third down running back.
Well, but I'm telling you, and then there you go. You just hit part of the nail on the head then, because if he's coming back and he's under your franchise tag, you're almost mandated that you got to put him back in the lineup, as you said. So I'm going to make my franchise tag player a quote-unquote third down back?
No.
So if you're
although
saying,
arguably last year, Chris Thompson could have been the Redskins franchise player.
Yeah.
And while he wasn't just a third down back, he had the third down back qualities.
But they also weren't paying him franchise tag money.
No, the dude got like a $3 million contract, and he said he was the most thankful that he'd ever been in his life for anything.
Yeah.
And then came out and had the year he had last year. So that's how you should be treated. That's how you should treat a contract in the NFL. But what do we know? We just don't make $14 million. And I wish I had to make these hard decisions on whether or not to sign the $14 million dotted line.
I know which direction I'm going.
Maybe one day.
All right, let's turn our attention from the NFL to the NCAA. Let's start with the West Virginia Mountaineers. You called it last week, and our pick'ems on Wednesday, you had a feeling. But
I did.
Did you have a feeling it would be quite as bad? 30-14 Iowa State all over WVU. The Mountaineers did not look good. 1 offensive touchdown. I heard the blocked field goal return for touchdown. I'd missed their opening score. And that, even Tony Caridi in the radio call said, maybe this will be the catalyst that will get this team going.
It should have been. If there was going to be one, that was it. Nothing swings momentum like a block kick.
And then returned for 7. A 10-point turnaround.
Nothing can swing momentum like that. And if there was going to be a turn in that game, it would have been that. But the Mountaineers never looked like they wanted to win that game.
No, it was bad. To a point where if you heard our sportscast earlier in the day, Dana Holgerson after the game said of his offense, it's the worst I've seen in 30 years around the game of football. So certainly something they've got to fix. Well, let's hear from Jake Spavital, and we'll take a break after that and then come back and hear from Gibby, Tony Gibson, the defensive coordinator, and get a sense from both guys as to how badly it played out for the Mountaineers. Let's start again. Spavital, the offensive coordinator.
You know, I got to look at the tape. I thought there was a mixture of a lot of things. You know, they're going to rush 3, and they're going to keep you off guard with some stuff. We knew that going into it. I got to look at the tape again, but I did feel like there was a lot of pressure. I felt like we were moving backwards the majority of the second half with penalties, with negative plays. And versus a team like that, you don't have very many opportunities. You know, we had 4 drives in the second half, and I thought in each of those 4 drives, I thought we were doing some sort of behind the chains play at some point in each of those drives. Can't do that. You know, try to get to some efficient underneath plays, and I couldn't get to. They matched it up well. Again, I got to see it closer on tape, but I thought just across the board they got after us in general. You know, I still think we got a pretty good offense, and you know, I think we got to get back to the drawing board and make sure that we get these things corrected over the bye week moving forward. Yeah, I saw that. You know, I kept seeing them rush 3 and us getting, you know, escaping the pocket somehow. I don't know what was going on exactly. You know, you got to see it first, but I thought Will's got to be smarter with the ball in those situations. Sometimes just chalk it up and throw it away. But yeah, I felt like that everybody at some point, you know, took their turn throughout the course of a drive. If it was receivers with drops, if it was Will taking sacks, or an O-line or running back, you know, we only called 42 plays. You know, that's probably the least amount I've ever called in the game, and a lot of that is just due to the efficiency of where we were at. I thought we'd hit a run here and there. They were going to give you a light box like we talked about. We talked about how the run game had to be what decided the end result for us. And I thought it hit at times, and I just thought the inconsistency of it, you know, I kept sticking to it. You look at what Will ran, like Will, I think, ended up with like 15 pass attempts out of the 42, which there was a few scrambles on those. So, again, I just thought we got outplayed, outcoached everything throughout the course of this game. And, you know, we knew we were going to have minimal possessions, and we talked about taking advantage of it, and we didn't.
Yeah, this offense, with only 1 touchdown on Saturday, has hit rock bottom. They have not played well offensively in a couple of weeks.
Ever since the second half of that Texas Tech game.
Really, second quarter. Because remember, they scored, 28 in the first quarter of that game?
Correct.
Or 21, something like that, and then added, because they had 35 points at the half in that one. I don't know what it is. With the weapons that this team has, a Heisman hopeful quarterback, a Biletnikoff Award finalist wide receiver, a pretty good offensive line. I don't think that this is a bad offensive line.
I don't think it is at all either.
So what is the issue? Are they just that predictable? Is it play calling? Is it just lack of execution? Is it some kind of a complacency? I don't know. But hopefully the coaching staff in this offensive unit can figure it out, and figure it out in time to still salvage the season. Because, look, this is 1 loss. Big games are still in front of West Virginia, right?
So it's by Oklahoma, Texas, Baylor. I mean, Baylor's not that big of a game, but Baylor could be.
Yeah.
You never know.
That's the next game on a Thursday night.
You never know what Baylor team you're going to get. Let's put it that way.
TCU still, right?
Yep.
So you've got some big games in the Big 12 still to play. And if the Mountaineers in this bye week turn things around before playing Baylor next Thursday and can then get on a roll heading into those matchups with the TCUs and the Texases and the Oklahoma State still, and although they've been struggling, then again, so are the Mountaineers and Oklahoma. I mean, everything is still in front of this Mountaineer team, but they have to find a way to fix things fast.
I was going to say, they got to fix the defense, too. It's not just the offense. And
boom, great minds think alike, or at least ours did, because that was where
2 halves make a whole.
That was where I was going next. And let's do that. Let's take a break, and then when we come back, we'll hear from Tony Gibson and see what he thought about the defensive effort in that 30-14 loss at Iowa State. Coming up, it's more Miller Time.
When you or a loved one needs medical attention, but the thought of spending several hours in a waiting room makes you feel even worse, did you know at WVU Medicine Urgent Care Centers you can get in line before you leave the house? WVU Urgent Care's online scheduling allows you to wait more comfortably at home or wherever is convenient. Simply visit our website at uhpurgentcare.com and select an arrival time. WVU Medicine Urgent Care, with 3 convenient locations in Charlestown, Inwood, and now open in Spring Mills.
I'm an official sounding scientist, and I'm here for Comfort Experiments. We're going to recreate the way your home heating system works in your car. Crank up your heat. Blast it at your face. Starting to break a sweat? This is central heating. A Mitsubishi Electric Zone comfort solution with hyperheating allows you to get just the right amount of heat exactly where you need it. Fast. No cold drafts. It's comfort made personal. This concludes our little comfort experiment.
Take advantage of Mitsubishi Electric's 36-month 0% financing on qualifying systems at McRae Heating and Cooling. Celebrating 80 years in business with free estimates available online at McRaeway.com.
Trying to figure it all out, the Mountaineers try to reassemble the pieces after Saturday's shattering loss. Hi, everybody. I'm Tony Caridi. That story coming up on today's Mountaineer Report, brought to us by Kroger, the official grocer of WVU Athletics.
When you order your groceries online at Kroger.com or with the Kroger app, you can do your shopping anytime, anywhere, like the gym, the office, or your favorite comfy couch. Plus, when you visit Kroger.com, you can find hundreds of money-saving digital coupons. And whether you place your order on your phone, tablet, or computer, it's still your neighborhood Kroger. So you'll find all the fresh choices, low prices, and great deals you love. And once you've selected your coupons and finished your shopping, you choose a pickup time that fits your schedule. And relax while your order is hand-picked, just the way you like it. Then all you have to do is hop in the car and drive to the store's pickup location. And a friendly Kroger associate will load your specially picked order for you. You don't even have to get out of your vehicle. It's so convenient. Save time. Shop online today at Kroger.com.
A lot of soul searching today for members of the Mountaineer football team and the coaching staff as they try to figure out all that went wrong in Saturday's 30-14 loss at Iowa State. It was an odd game by so many different ways, including the final score, which really doesn't indicate how statistically dominated West Virginia was by the Cyclones. Consider this. West Virginia's offense, which at times this season had seemed unstoppable, had 12 drives in the game. And on just 2 occasions, they reached 5 plays before having to give the ball up. Think about that. Just 5 plays twice among the 12 drives that the Mountaineers had. So a lot to do on both the offensive side, defense, and really even special teams before they return to action 1 week from this coming Thursday against the Baylor Bears. Meanwhile, the national polls dropping West Virginia down 7 spots, both in the AP and in the coaches poll. West Virginia this week comes in at number 13. The Mountaineers are one of 3 Big 12 teams in the rankings. The other 2 are in the top 10. Oklahoma comes in at number 9, and the Longhorns of Texas come in at number 7. A couple of notes from Saturday's game. Derek Pitts, who picked up that loose ball after the blocked field goal attempt and returned it 72 yards for a touchdown. The last time a Mountaineer returned a kick off of a block for a touchdown was back in October of 1994 at Pitt when Harold Kidd pulled the trick. And how about West Virginia linebacker Shea Campbell, the Morgantown native? He responded well in absence of Dylan Tonkery and finished up with a double-digit tackle performance against the Cyclones. That is today's Mountaineer Report, brought to us by Kroger, the official grocer of WVU Athletics. I'm Tony Caridi on the Mountaineer Sports Network from IMG.
Hi, this is Tom Bibby, and I'm the Republican candidate for the West Virginia House of Delegates for District 62. I'm running because I want to cut taxes, limit government spending, and reduce overregulation to promote economic growth and prosperity for West Virginia.
You know what you're getting with Tom Bibby. Someone who will listen and work hard to represent you and fight for increased accountability and transparency in government. Not a career politician, Tom is a retired military officer and pilot with over 45 years in the public and private sectors. You can find out more about Tom's campaign at tombibbywv.com.
If you elect me as your delegate for District 62, my focus will be on creating jobs and the benefits that come from a vibrant economy, and I'll work hard to improve the quality of life for you and all West Virginians.
You can count on Tom Bibby to represent conservative values. He's pro-life, pro-family, pro-Second Amendment, pro-business, pro-taxpayer, and above all, he's pro-West Virginia.
To find out more about my campaign, please visit my website at tombibbywv.com. That's tombibbywv.com. Thank you for listening, and I would appreciate your vote this November.
This ad is paid for by the candidate, Tom Bibby, with the help of many supporters.
L.A. Roberts in historic downtown Martinsburg is celebrating 100 years in business with their sale of the century. Through October 27th, you can save 25 to 50% on L.A. Roberts' exclusive brands of fine jewelry, timepieces, and gifts. Take 20% off repairs on jewelry, watches, and clocks. And while you're here, enter to win one of our $100 gift cards. L.A. Roberts Jewelers. Quality, value, and service for 100 years at 146 North Queen Street in historic downtown Martinsburg.
This is John Hardy. I'm a lifelong resident of the Eastern Panhandle and a small business owner. I'm running for the West Virginia House of Delegates in the 63rd District. I'm a fiscal conservative who will look out for your money and how it is spent in Charleston. I believe in tax reform and comprehensive tax review. I will be your watchdog for waste, fraud, and abuse in state agencies. I am dedicated to working to find long-term solutions for education, our drug epidemic, and moving West Virginia forward. I'm ready to serve, ready to listen, and ready to work. To my neighbors in the 63rd, let me be your voice in Charleston. Vote John Hardy, November 6th.
John Hardy for WVDelegate.com. It got warm today, otherwise I might go ahead and throw my sweater back on and welcome you into the neighborhood as we talk sports. You didn't catch me off guard quite as much because now I recognize the flute music. The first time you played that, I wondered what in the world we were listening to.
Marshall Tucker Band.
I must admit I have not heard a lot of flute in my classic rock music.
Southern rock.
Southern rock, whatever you want to
call it. It's
call
not like old school
it.
rock and roll. It's Southern rock. It's a little mix of everything. All right, before we get into Tony, not that we don't have time to talk about flute, but we don't have time to talk about flute.
No.
Before we get into the defense, here's some food for thought, if you will.
All right.
The Mountaineers finished the game against Iowa State with 152 total yards of offense. Matt Miller, do you know the second lowest total amount of offense they had throughout this year so far?
I'm going to say it's got to be in the mid to upper 300-yard range.
464 against Kansas State. That was their season low for offense. 464 yards. They had 152 against Iowa State.
Well, one of the comments that we heard from Dana Holgerson, he said it's the worst offense he's seen in his 30 years, and then he asked the question, is the Iowa State defense that good? And then he answered it. I don't know. But then he went on to say, I just know that we were that bad offensively.
They were that bad. I mean,
but as much difficulty as they had there, they didn't stop Iowa State that well.
They made
either.
a true freshman quarterback look like a Heisman contender.
All right, let's hear from Tony Gibson, defensive coordinator for the Mountaineers, and his thoughts after the game.
Here, I'll give you the rundown of the game in my mind. We were on our heels early. Well, actually, we made a 3 and out and then a pick. We played 4 snaps and we're rolling. Scored, and I don't know if we just thought, all right, this is going to be easy, and they didn't quit and came out and they made some plays, and then I thought we settled in. Obviously, blocking the field goal was huge. Turned into 7 points, so it was 20-14, and then thought we hung in there for a while, but again, when you start losing guys, you know, that's kind of the story of our defense over the last few years. We just can't keep guys healthy, so. I thought early on we did a poor job of tackling 32. He was running hard. It was just, I don't know, it looked bad from where I was at. But again, I thought we hung in there for a long time, and you know, I mean, it was a 6-point game until late when did they score that? Late in the third. So, or was it early fourth?
Early fourth. The tip ball.
Yeah. So, you know, and they made a good play. The bad thing is we had double coverage over there. That's what's sad. So, but, you know, I thought, again, our kids fought and didn't quit. And, you know, thought they executed and we didn't. So, I mean, there's not much more I can say than that. You know, I'm proud of how our guys kept fighting. Not proud of how we performed or how we executed, but the fight was there, the flying around was there. I thought we were physical at times. But we got a lot of stuff to go back and fix. The first thing is we gotta get guys healthy bodies out there. Now I'm not using that as an excuse, but you know, it is what it is. The other thing that makes me mad is I guess their second touchdown to the tight end was a flat out push off by him and no call, but you know, it is what it is. It'd be easy to sit and blame the officials, but you know, we didn't tackle, we didn't play well, we didn't get pressure on the quarterback, we didn't wrap up. So, you know, everything that went bad or that could have went bad did, and they were more motivated, they were better coached. You know, we took a butt whipping.
Should we be concerned at all that we just heard both the offensive and the defensive coordinator
Talk about the lack of coaching and the butt whooping. And
they threw themselves under the bus. Yep, we got out-coached. Why? You were the number 6 team in the nation coming into this game. Iowa State was the underdog. Yes, I know they're a tough team to play, especially there. Yes, I know their fan base is rabid, just like the Mountaineer fan base, which makes it a tough place to play. Yes, I know they're coming off of a big win a week earlier against Oklahoma State, and they did that on the road. But that's all the more reason why you needed to be ready to outcoach them and outplay them, because you knew they were going to come in licking their lips going, we are primed to take down the number 6 team in the nation.
And we'll talk a little bit about this more after the break because we've got to get into a break here soon. But you know how many people weren't overly surprised that the Mountaineers lost?
Weren't overly surprised?
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah, and we'll break that down a little bit more after this bottom of the hour break. But it's amazing how it was a really, really tough loss. But it's amazing how this really wasn't catastrophic to a lot of Mountaineer fans out there.
Yeah, there was some expectation for whatever reason. Well, partially the way the Mountaineers have played in the prior couple of games. All right, we'll continue the conversation next on Miller Time.
CBS News Special Report. Microsoft co-founder Paul Allen has died just 2 weeks after saying he would aggressively fight a recurrence of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. CBS's Steve Futterman joins us live.
And Pam, Paul Allen was a computer pioneer. It was at a private school in Seattle that he first met Bill Gates. It would prove to be a fortuitous relationship. The two shared an interest in computing and programming. It eventually led to the formation of Microsoft and vast fortunes for both. This past August, Paul Allen was estimated to be worth more than $20 billion.
And Steve Allen kept busy after stepping down from Microsoft.
He certainly did, Pam. Allen was involved in investments and research, including private space travel. He also owned a number of sports franchises, including the Portland Trail Blazers basketball team and the Seattle Seahawks of the National Football League. Pam?
Paul Allen was 65. CBS News Special Report, I'm Pam Coulter.
Now, with your local forecast, weatherman Bob Kukin.
Quite cool this evening and overnight as temperatures fall through the 50s into the middle 40s. Clouds increasing, and there could be a few showers or even a quick thunder shower through the late night, early morning Saturday. Saturday, we're back to sunshine by midday through the afternoon and a high temperature close to 60. And more sunshine for Sunday, too, after we start out in the chilly upper 30s and head for a high of 60. I'm Bob Kukin, Talk Radio, WRNR.
Upset over spending abuses in Charleston involving the West Virginia court system? You can do something about it. Whether you vote early or vote on Election Day, the EPBA urges you to vote for Amendment Number 2. Amendment Number 2 would give West Virginia's legislature oversight over the budget of our judicial branch. 49 other states already allow their legislatures this power. The U.S. Constitution also gives Congress this oversight authority over the federal judiciary. To allow this in West Virginia, vote yes on Amendment Number 2. For more than 25 years, the Eastern Panhandle Business Association has actively monitored West Virginia's government and actions of the legislature. The EPBA advocates for sensible reforms in government operations, as well as in West Virginia's education, tax, and legal justice systems. The EPBA also continually advocates for an agenda in our state that promotes private enterprise to foster economic growth and prosperity for the Eastern Panhandle and for the state of West Virginia. Passing Amendment Number 2 is yet another step to improve government in West Virginia. Do the right thing. Vote for Amendment Number 2.
Paid for by EPBA PAC.
Your NBC Sports Radio update starts now.
Niners-Packers Monday Night Football, a little after 8 o'clock Eastern tonight. Randall Cobb, Geronimo Allison inactive. Elsewhere in the NFL, the Bucs have fired defensive coordinator, the highest-paid defensive coordinator in football, Mike Smith. The team was ranked 31st in defense as they stood. The Patriots have identified the fan who threw that beer at Tyreek Hill. They have banned him from all future events at Gillette Stadium. 7:39 p.m. Dodgers and the Brewers in game number 3 of the NLCS. Some soccer news today. Usain Bolt's agent confirmed that the sprinter-turned-soccer player has received an offer from a major European club. He scored 2 goals last week as part of an Australian side Central Coast Mariners trial game. I'm Keith Irizarry. It's NBC Sports Radio and the NBC Sports Radio mobile app.
Why Apple Valley Chevrolet Toyota in Martinsburg? Because we're a name you can trust. And you can trust that you'll always find a large selection of over 400 new Chevrolets and a wide selection of new Toyotas at unbeatable prices. How unbeatable? Well, we will not be beat on any deal on any new Chevrolet or Toyota. That's right. You will not find a lower price, guaranteed. From Chevy Cruzes, Malibus, Impalas, Equinox, Suburbans, Silverados, to Toyota Yaris, Corollas, Camrys, Avalons, and more. No one beats an Apple Valley Chevrolet Toyota deal. And remember to check your mailbox for this month's specials and great savings. Simply put, if you're in the market or will soon be in the market for a new or newer vehicle, check out all that Apple Valley Chevrolet Toyota has to offer. We're Apple Valley Chevrolet Toyota in Martinsburg, or online at applevalleychevy.com. That's applevalleychevy.com. Apple Valley Chevrolet Toyota, a name you can trust.
Floodwaters can spread E. coli bacteria. Here's Bill Kearns from the Berkeley County Health Department about what to do if your well is tested positive.
If it's just a one-time contamination, you can superchlorinate your well, which we have instructions at the health department. They could call and talk to us. You're providing an excessive amount of bleach down the well. Then you do a runoff to get that out of the system, to get the bleach through your lines, get any contamination out of there. You do a runoff of so long, and then you can have it tested again.
The Berkeley County Health Department, 122 Waverly Court in Martinsburg. Call 304-263-5131.
We welcome you back into Miller Time on this Monday evening. Matt and Matt with you as we take you to 7 o'clock in the Dana Holgerson Show. We had been talking Mountaineer football and their loss against Iowa State. Not the only kind of tough loss to take on Saturday in college football.
That's a very, very big understatement.
We were down at Shepherd for at least a portion of the game after the morning at Sunfire Energy Solutions and their Oktoberfest celebration, helping them to wrap that up on Saturday. And then you and I made our way down. By the time we got there, the Rams were already trailing. What was it, 17-3?
3, yeah, they just kicked a field goal when we had
right.
just walked in the gates and were standing.
They kicked the
if you've ever been to
goal.
Rams Stadium, we were walking in the entrance towards the academic side rather than the
what's called the midway.
Is that the midway?
Yeah, that's what they
I thought
call
the midway was the underpass. Or is that called the underpass?
The underpass. The midway is the grassy knoll area there over by the Rams Den and that building, and what used to be Sarah Cree, but is now a parking lot.
That still is very weird.
Yeah,
to be sitting in the stands and look back and go.
It is.
There used to be a building there.
You're right. No longer.
And I was one of the few kids at Shepherd over the last 15 years or whenever the Butcher Center was built.
Right.
It's probably close to 15 years now, isn't it?
Which one?
The new Wellness Center?
The new Wellness Center. Oh, adding that on. I was going to say the original Butcher Center was, like
I'm sorry, I misspoke when I said Butcher Center, but I'm thinking the Wellness Center's probably get at least 10
it's
years
getting
old.
Up there.
So I was one of the
tell you exactly.
few kids that actually got to do stuff in Sarah Cree.
There you go.
Dealing with the newspaper. But so most kids didn't have any idea what was inside of there unless they had to go pay a police ticket or something.
I missed a few classes in my days at Shepherd where we would get a pickup basketball game
You
going.
missed or you skipped?
Well, I mean, I
you intentionally missed.
Several times it would be like, hey, guys, look, man, one more point. I got to go. Next point wins. And it would take a few minutes to score that point or something. And then the guys would be like, come on, man, it's only this to this or let's – and I would, all right, I'll give you a few more. And the next thing you know, you just kind of look down and go, all right, I'll get notes from somebody else. And we would just keep playing the basketball game. So occasionally that happened. All right, let's go to the Shepherd Rams. And a tough loss against Fairmont State, 38-17 the final. These numbers almost as striking as the numbers you were talking about with the Mountaineers and their matchup with Iowa State. Fairmont State, and it doesn't sound like a ton, 313 total yards of offense, but 38 points out of 300 yards is pretty nice. Now, they did have one pick six, so 7 of those points not necessarily against that Ram defense. But then you hear Shepherd held to 273 total yards of offense and only 56 rushing yards.
I think the 56 rushing yards stands out to me the most. Because Shepherd, surprisingly, actually, I guess I shouldn't say surprisingly, but so far this year, Shepherd's run the ball pretty well.
At times.
for the most part, they haven't been the Jabril Lolly, Alan Cross combo of a few years back by any stretch, but they haven't been awful. They've been good enough to keep them in and make the defense honest when it comes to the run, and they just weren't. And Tyson Bagent, over the last couple weeks, has started to look more and more like a true freshman quarterback. Again, still very good for his age, good for the little amount of time he's played college football so far. But overall, the last couple weeks has really started to look, you see plays made, and you go, okay, that's a true freshman quarterback. The throws into triple coverage, the throws where you can tell he and the receiver are not on the same page, which could be the receiver. Those plays, from the stands, you just never know.
Yeah.
You're basing it on body language and who's the guy who's been in the offense more, who's been in the offense for 3 months. So it's the little things like that. But, again, you can't pinpoint it on individuals, and especially when you look at the game Saturday. It was a team effort in that loss.
Yeah, 17-0. The Rams fell behind before rallying, got to within 17-10, but then gave up a touchdown late in the first half to be down 24-10 at the intermission, and never got anything going really in that second half. And ultimately, they fall to 4-2 with the loss.
Yeah, and they're sadly in the Mountain East, that really kind of takes them out of the playoff hunt as of right now.
All right, I believe we have a caller on the line.
I believe we do.
All right, welcome to Miller Time. Who are we talking to?
What's up, guys? It's Russell.
Hey, Russ, how's it going?
Good. How are you guys?
Not bad.
We've been better talking Shepherd Rams football, but not too bad.
Yes, we have, to say the least. That was pretty frustrating.
Yeah, you were there. I know you were sitting a few rows in front of us. And, Russ, we're going to throw some stats at you here. And these are for everybody, but, Russell, you'll like these stats as well. Going back to, and, Matt, you have those stats in front of you. So let's look at the last time Shepherd was beat like this at home and in conference as a whole.
Yeah, just thinking of Mountain East Conference, it clearly hadn't happened in the Mountain East. The Rams have absolutely dominated in the Mountain East Conference. So we thought, okay, we got to go back to the WVIAC days. And as you were looking it up, you went to 2003 to find the last time that the Rams lost by as much as 3 touchdowns against a conference opponent. It was West Virginia Wesleyan, 34-14. But that was at Wesleyan. So then we said, all right, we got to find out when's the last time the Rams suffered a loss like this at home against a conference opponent. 1995, November 4th of 95 to be exact, when the Rams lost 40-10 at home against Glenville State. That's a long time ago.
Alive for that.
I was going to say, Russ, I don't think you and I were alive for that 95 loss. But, I mean, you look at that, and those are jaw-dropping, not because of, again, obviously the loss Saturday sucked. There's no other way to put it. It's sitting in the stands. It was a very weird feeling sitting in the stands for that kind of game at Ram Stadium. But while you look at those stats and it's amazing that it's been that long, you look at how good Shepherd's been over that time and how spoiled we are as Shepherd Ram football fans to lose by 3 touchdowns and have it be the first time in 15 years. I mean, that's insane.
Yeah, it was weird because me and my dad, we were sitting there and we were like, we've never seen Shepherd get dogged like that in a conference game. I mean, we were wondering for a long time, was like, how bad is this compared to like normal, like, or historically? And it was like, we don't know.
Well, there it is. Historically, that is it. 2003 and then 1995 was the last time that people sitting in Ram Stadium saw a conference loss like that. Obviously, you can throw in some of the playoff games that have been lopsided since then. But just
not as lopsided. That's the point. You know, I mean, even
there's
last year,
been playoff games that have been lopsided like that.
But last year against Finlay, even that game, as dominating as they were in time of possession and rushing yards, and you were just shocked, they outrammed the Rams. You know, I mean, that's what Shepherd used to do to teams, right? Run it down their throat, control possession, clock, and all of those things, and, you know, get away with a win. While Finley did that, it was still basically a one-score game. I mean, remember in the, late third quarter, I believe it was, may have been early fourth.
Early fourth.
Yeah, Shepherd has a chance with a touchdown to take the lead in that game. And it didn't happen, and ultimately Finley adds one more score, and the margin is a little wider. But that still wasn't quite the same feel that Saturday had.
Not at all. It was a bizarre, weird feeling. I mean, the guy within 7, and that last drive going to halftime, I thought really was the thing that really did me on that draw play where they just couldn't tackle. It was like, whoa.
And that was the first time in a long time that I think you could sit and watch each team. You could watch Fairmont State line up on the offensive side of the football and Shepherd line up on the defensive side of the football and see the size difference. I mean, the last couple years, it's been you've had the E.J. Norrises, the Miles Humphrey, the guys that are just big linemen.
Yep.
Even in that linebacking core. Yeah, the Chanel Jenkins, the Howard Jones.
Mm-hmm.
And yesterday, you looked at that defensive line for Shepherd, really that front 7, and at least I did. I don't know if this was everybody, looked at that field and went, all right, Shepherd's not big, and Fairmont State is, quite frankly, just manhandling them.
Well, I mean, but thinking you got to look at, Fairmont State, they're really well funded, better than Shepherd, because, they're just south of Morgantown, so they got a lot more resources. But I think another key aspect that a lot of people don't understand is that Fairmont had Coach Fauneroy over there on the defensive line, so he probably gave in some good stuff during the week that probably helped them out tremendously, which people probably don't think about, honestly, but it may have been huger than we think.
Yeah, I'm sure that played a part in it, but I don't think that's going to – I don't think that was any major reason that Shepherd came out and looked like that on Saturday. Though that may have been a contributing factor, I don't see that being one of the main reasons why Shepherd looked as flat as they did on both sides of the football.
Well, Russell, thank you for the call. You're welcome to stay on the line and listen and maybe even chime in afterwards. But let's jump into, Matt, your conversation with head coach Ernie McCook after the game and get an idea of what the head coach is thinking.
Are we hearing from Ernie McCook?
Is that who you want to hear from?
I figured we'd go to the defensive side of the football.
You want to go defense first?
Let's go defense. Let's go with Josh Klein.
All right.
This is a good one. I was nervous about doing this, but this actually turned into a pretty good interview. So here's Rams defensive coordinator Josh Klein.
We got out physical. It's not too many times I can say that, but we got our butts kicked over and over, play after play, and it's not acceptable, and we got to get it fixed. Proud of the way a couple guys played. Ponce de Leon stuck out and really battled through a lot of things and did really well as the two corners.
I know not necessarily in the stat book, but on the scoreboard, the second half, there was definitely an improvement scoring-wise on the defensive side of the football.
Yeah, we got our heads straight. We made the correct checks. We were struggling in the first half. We were inconsistent with what we were seeing, and they didn't communicate well, and we got it fixed at halftime. I thought they played hard the second half. They just we could give it to Fairmont. They out-physicaled us today, and that's usually not the case here at Shepherd, and we got to fix it.
You mentioned just the out-physical aspect, but was there anything they were doing that was just totally not what you all were preparing for?
No, they ran their game plan like we've seen. They ran the ball. Number 13 ran it tough. We didn't tackle well. In the pass game, we didn't get in the windows we were supposed to get into. We were hanging on other receivers that we shouldn't have been.
What does practice look like this week, and what do you got to work on?
We just got to go back to the basics, figure it out. It's going to Urbana's a good team, and got to prepare to get those guys ready to go, and we'll be better next week.
I know you haven't had a chance to look at them yet, but what do they do just generic-wise that you've seen so far?
I'm sorry, but I don't look ahead, so I can't tell you at all. I know they play tough defense. They've had quarterbacks hurt, so their offensive points aren't high, but other than that, I really don't know what they do.
Coach, thanks a lot. Good luck next week.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, Matt, you were a little frustrated during that.
Well, if I heard correctly, Coach Klein, complimenting a couple of players and mentioned one by name and Ponce de Leon, and then mentioned the two corners. And, at least from the stands and listening to other fans around, they were all over the corners for a very large cushion that was being allowed. I mean, the quarterback for Fairmont State is a young guy as well. 12 of 14 passing for 148 yards and a touchdown, and no interceptions.
That means the defense is allowing a lot of easy throws and a lot of throws for 10, 12, 15 yards.
I was a little surprised by that statement because I didn't, and from, again, the perspective of other fans sitting around us in the stands, it seemed like, the corners maybe didn't play as well as what Coach Klein was mentioning there.
Russ, did you get that thought too? I know, again, you were sitting in the same section we were, and there was definitely a lot of thought on one particular cornerback and his play, especially in that second half.
Yeah, just too much room to throw easy passes to the sidelines on third downs. It was like, you had a chance to get off the field, and they just couldn't get off the field. It was just like, good Lord. It was frustrating.
And you hit the nail on the head, Russ, third downs. I'd have to go back and look. I'll do that during the next break. I had not checked the statistics yet to see what that third down conversion percentage was. But Fairmont State stayed on the field and possessed the football.
That last touchdown drive, they had 3 third down conversions in a row.
You want to know what third downs were?
Yes.
Real quick, because I know we got to get in the break here. But third down conversions, Fairmont State, 10 for 14.
Wow.
Shepherd.
Ouch.
Well, yeah, Fairmont State 10 for 14, Shepherd 5 for 13.
And there's a difference in the ball game in a 21-point decision.
And Fairmont State, while they didn't necessarily have numbers that jumped off the page stat-wise, held the ball for 35 minutes compared to Shepherd's 24. So they got the lead and were able to put drives together where they held onto the football and were able to make plays on that defensive side of the football, some even leading to points.
Well, we will see if the Rams can bounce back. Next up, Urbana on the road this Saturday. Hey, Russ, good talking to you. Thanks for chiming in.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
All right, Russell Goodacre joining us via the WVU Medicine Berkeley and Jefferson Medical Center talk line. One more break to take, right?
Yep.
And then when we come back, we'll turn our attention from the college to the high school football ranks. Some big wins on Friday night for area teams, and we'll tell you about it next on Miller Time.
I got 7 women on my mind. 4 that want to own me, 2 that want to stone me, 1 says she's a friend of mine. Take it easy, take it easy.
Whatever you do, it's good to go the extra mile. But when we go to Antwerp, Belgium to buy a diamond for you, we go the extra 7,982 miles, the distance from here to Antwerp. And when you see your new diamond, the sparkle in your eyes will tell us it was worth it to go the distance. Hi, I'm Lori from Bechtel Jewelers. Dave and I are leaving soon on a diamond buying trip. And here's what going the extra 7,982 miles means for you. A more beautiful diamond than you thought possible for your money. Antwerp is the diamond capital of the world. We work directly with the men and women who buy and cut the diamonds. We personally inspect thousands of diamonds to pick only the best out of each parcel. And believe me, we reject hundreds of diamonds for each one we buy. Would you like to own a diamond that will blow by other diamonds in a flash? We're ready to go the extra 7,982 miles for you. See us at Bechtel Jewelers, Route 11 south of 51 in Inwood.
Who should get your vote in that state Senate race? The EPBA thinks the answer is Michael Folk. The EPBA has endorsed Mike Folk for the West Virginia Senate 16th District. Mike Folk's positive record in the legislature on measures improving West Virginia's business climate has placed him in the EPBA's Champion of Prosperity category. Mike Folk has a proven record in the legislature of advocating and supporting much-needed and long overdue reforms in education, taxes, the legal climate, and government regulation and operation. Mike Folk, the best choice for the West Virginia State Senate, paid for by EPBA PAC.
I am Bill Stubblefield, and I am running for Berkeley County Council. I was previously on the council for 6 years, the last 2 of which I was the president. Previously, I helped make a difference, and I'm confident I would do so again. I am fiscally conservative, and the last time I was able to help reduce the council's budget by 10% while protecting emergency services. I'm Bill Stubblefield, and I ask your support as an independent candidate when you vote for the Berkeley County Council.
Paid for by candidate.
With 4 new car dealerships and 4 used car dealerships in 3 states, Parsons is the largest used car and fastest growing new car dealer in the tri-state area. Take Parsons Ford with huge savings on hundreds of new Fords, financing from 0%. Parsons' goal of financing for all. And Parsons' famous above market trade-in allowances that help make Parsons #1 for used cars too. See why so many won't buy anywhere but Parsons Ford in Martinsburg. We became #1 by making you #1 first. Parsons.
For an Allstate agent, providing protection that fits your life is something they take, well, personally. Allstate agents are committed to learning about your needs and personalizing protection to meet them. From bundling your auto, home, and life insurance with ease to evaluating optional coverage based on your protection needs, your Allstate agent can build an insurance proposal that fits your life. Are you in good hands? Contact Martinsburg Allstate agent Gary Kelly today for a free quote at 304-263-4596. Life insurance offered through Allstate Life Insurance Company and Allstate Assurance Company, Northbrook, Illinois, and American Heritage Life Insurance Company, Jacksonville, Florida.
Maybelline, why can't you be true? Oh, Maybelline.
We welcome you back into Miller Time on this Monday evening. As we turn our attention to some high school football, we want to pass along that you are invited to the Bulldog Come Dine with the Dogs event, and it is October the 18th. That is a Thursday, and in fact, that is this Thursday. The team usually does their pregame meal on Thursday evenings, and so this will be a chance for you to dine with them. It's at the MHS cafeteria. It'll be from 5 to 7:30 p.m., and they'll be celebrating teams from 1990 right up to this 2018 season. Cost $5 for admission. There will be a photo booth, a merchandise table, good times, apple dumplings for sale. Oh, yeah. You got to go just to pick up some of those.
Can't ever say I've had an apple dumpling.
Tickets will be available at the door and at the T-shirt table as well, so you can stop by and grab one of those tickets right there at the door, or you could call 304-279-3346 to go ahead and make a ticket reservation as well. Speaking of the Bulldogs, this coming Friday night, they will play at Jefferson, and it could be a landmark game, if you will.
You say that because of the win streak that they tied with the win over Hedgesville. The very easy win against Hedgesville, 69-3, the final for that one. But they could break the West Virginia win streak record with a win over the Jefferson Cougars.
A win streak that was set in 1970, 71,
I think it was 71-73.
It was, yeah, right.
Yeah.
71-73, and then tied in 20-2012 by Wayne. It was Anstead who did it at the first, and then Wayne tied it. And Martinsburg got close, 32 wins in a row that same time period, 2010-2012. But ultimately lost to Westminster there. They tied it with the win against Hedgesville. And after the game, Brian Potts, who filled in for Jason Colrick on the sideline, caught up with head coach David Walker, and this was his reaction.
Take them one at a time, but now that we're here, I mean, you know, I told our guys, I said, you can make history tonight and be a part of it, but then next week you can break history. So I'm proud of our guys, proud of all of our kids that's been in our program, and you know, the last 36 games, I mean, we've had some great players, and I think we got some great ones this year. So it's just a testament to all the kids and the hard work that they put in.
The Dogs off to an 8-0 start to the season, winners of 36 in a row, try to make it 37 straight Friday night at Shenandoah Junction.
All right, let me pose this question to you, because obviously 36 wins in a row is nothing to turn your nose up at.
No.
That is unprecedented. It's incredible. Do you think the streak would have been that much more amplified if they were playing a team that wasn't just coming off a 17-game losing streak? Like, do you think this streak would feel more special? Because, again, I'm not guaranteeing a Martinsburg win in any way, shape, or form, but obviously you look at this matchup, Martinsburg is favored heavily. Favored heavily, if I can get that out. Jefferson 1-6 now in the year, breaking a 17-game losing streak. Congratulations, by the way, to the Jefferson Cougars.
32-13 against Loudon Valley.
Hard-earned victory.
Yes.
And it's been long enough for those Cougars. But do you think if this win were to come against like a Sharando, that will just add to the, or do you think a win is a win when it comes to this sort of thing?
I think at this stage a win is a win. They had that win. They've had those couple of wins this year. You know,
because I guess the streak doesn't happen without those wins.
That's it. You knew you had to get by an Academy Park team that was going to be brand new to you, and they went on the road 3.5 hours away near Philadelphia, played a good football team, and came home with a victory. Then they knew Sharando. This was a game circled on the calendar since last year when the final score was 31-28. What did they do? They came out and in a slugfest, a shootout, win 50-45, and then you're playing a Hedgesville team that's going to be a playoff team in the state of West Virginia again, a team that was 5-2 coming in, and you're able to handle them to tie the record. I don't think it matters who you set the record against. The point is you've got a chance to do it.
I'm with you. I just didn't know if I was the only one thinking like that, or if people would take that a little less with what I'm sure is going to be a pretty easy win for the Bulldogs on Friday night. But yeah,
I'm with this Cougars team.
You can't, but at the same time, again, a heavy favorite.
And you got Musselman waiting in the wings, which is that, this is that trap game, as they like to call it in the media. That's you and I guess. But anyway,
we are the media.
Hopefully it's one that they go out, execute, do what they're supposed to do, and then play Musselman in 2 weeks.
Musselman a big win, 41-35 against Wheeling Park also.
Yep, the Appleman 7-0. That does it for Miller Time.
Forecast. Weatherman Bob Kukin.
We'll see temperatures holding pretty steady in the 50s through the evening, even on into the late night. Low temperature at sunrise, right around 50 degrees, lots of clouds, and a couple of showers.
Edges. You taught her what to do when the smoke alarm goes off and to wear a